I'm
But
gonna,
Good morning, everyone. This is the Vermont House Committee on Commerce and Economic Development. It is Friday, May 2nd, 2025 at 10:45 in the morning. And so we've just come back from the floor. We'll have a little bit of committee discussion. We won't have our legislative council till 11:30. There's been some changes in what we'll look at today. I think we're going to take a look and have some more discussions on S-122, which is an economic and workforce development bill. There's been an ask to put a piece in there about called Maple something. It's a residency program,
Maple Mountain.
Maple Mountain, for doctors when they're in their residency coming out of UVM. To get them into a rural setting. And so there's a money ask that's not in the budget right now. It's a 4-year commitment. I think it's 1.6 million or something. So the first year is 515,000. We've been talking with the chair of healthcare, also talking with the chair of appropriations, talking to the speaker. It sounds like a very worthwhile program for workforce development and to get more primary docs into the state, especially in the rural areas of the state. And I guess the studies have shown that the residents that go through this program, when they're finished and become docs, they tend to stay in those communities or go to a rural community. So it has promise, and I think this will help get it off the ground. So we'll take a look at that. There'll be some people coming in this afternoon speaking to us about it. We'll have Patrick Titterton in also to just go through the dollar amounts that are in 122, what's in the budget. Also, there's a fiscal note on that. So we'll look at that. There's not a whole lot we can do. I think there's maybe one piece in there that we could maybe try to push forward. But also H-34 is still sitting in the Senate. So we may use this to send it back over again if they're having trouble moving that. So we'll deal with that when it happens. Also want to let everybody know that H-137 is on the Senate floor for third reading this morning. And so that includes 2 new pieces. One is cooperators and mutual financial institutions. So this is something that the Vermont bankers had proposed, and the Senate put it in. I think we'll have an explanation, but I think that it looks fine to me. The other piece is they worked with the advocates and DFR on crypto kiosks. So they have a regulatory scheme to allow crypto kiosks, and say the prohibition is still in effect for 1 more year. And so a year from now, or a year from July 1, then they could be in Vermont. They've upped the amount to $5,000. How much they could send, they can, I think it's $15.99 or something like that for a charge. So there's different features. We'll have to listen to it. And we'll see where we go on that. And we'll see where the committee wants to go. If
Do you know whether DFR supports that?
well, they worked with DFR, so we'll have DFR come in.
Okay.
They can tell us. So we'll start looking at that on Tuesday morning. I don't know that within an hour we'll have come to a conclusion of what we want to do. Maybe we are, I don't know, but we'll have Maria come in and go over those changes. Talk to Chris Delia from the bankers. We'll invite him, and we'll invite DFR, and we'll have a space with Heather Scholdice and if her client's available, and she is. So it's pretty much where we sit. We will. I don't know if anybody caught the WCAX yesterday morning. They had a show on their new show. We're talking about vapes. and, how the vaping for, um, kids has actually dropped from 23. Percentage has gone down quite a bit. Um, we had worked a little bit, didn't come through this committee, but, we did work with Human Services. There was a bill that was going to increase regulation on retail stores for vapes. It's already against the law. But really, the issue is not coming from the stores. The issue is online sales, and it's against the law to sell in the state of Vermont. We did find out that there was a pilot program that was run. There was a grant that, DLL, Department of Liquor and Lottery, received, working with the Attorney General's office. So they had an investigator part-time, would get online, order stuff, kick it over, when the stuff arrived, they kick it over to, the Attorney General's office. There was no, for one, it's against the law anyway, but number two, they weren't checking IDs or anything. So they were issuing fines, and, I think in a 3-year period, they brought in over $900,000 of fines. So, last year, I was gonna put an amendment in, had it drafted that, we hire a full-time investigator at ELL. We would use tobacco settlement funds up front to pay for that, knowing that we could backfill those funds once, the investigator started his work, because I'm sure there's plenty of them out there that are sending them to Vermont. Eventually, we found out, or DLL decided that they could do it without any new funding. So, when that came up, when I saw that yesterday morning, I said, geez, I wonder how that's going. So I went and talked with the chair of Human Services, and she hadn't heard anything. So we decided we'll have a joint hearing next week in room 10, I think, Thursday morning. We'll have DLL come in, and we'll have, the AG's office come in and have that discussion. And, I think in talking with Representative Priestley this morning, there's something else that's going on. There's these nitrous oxide canisters, small can that kids are, available. There's no prohibition on it, so they're buying them from Amazon and eBay and wherever. And they're able to use that stuff. So-
Yeah.
Yeah. So, we can talk that's a consumer protection issue for us. I'm sure it's a health issue for Human Services, so, talk with Teresa about that too. See if, I don't think it's probably too late to do anything this year, but it's something that we can work on jointly with them next year. And see what's going on in the country too about those things. I hadn't heard anything about them. Sounds like that could become a real huge epidemic too.
Okay.
So,
Present.
yeah, so all I have now, next week, I don't know, we may start looking at 160, 161. A 69 is still hanging out there. We'll have to, in the next week or two, probably move that along, and we'll see what we're gonna do with S71 or H208. And that's about all I have right now.
Did everyone get the fiscal report on S122?
Yeah, there was a fiscal
We
note.
can post it, we
Yeah.
can post it on our webpage. And the bills, since we'll be looking at those later.
Yeah. Anna Grace, do you have the? Okay. If not, we can send it. It's, yeah, got something last night too from Rick and Patrick, so I can send
Yeah.
that along too. You get that?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you send it along?
Nobody will.
Okay, all right. So 11:30, Rick will be in. We'll do another walkthrough of 122, refamiliarize ourselves with it. I think probably the one piece we possibly can do there is, the SGC piece.
Great.
So if there's no other questions, we can go offline.